Premiership Power Rankings for, what is it, like round 25? The season's been a long one. We've still got one round to go. There's still that fourth spot in the playoffs up for grabs. But we'll go through the Power Rankings from bottom to top. I've redone the numbers this week because I do feel like there's more teams in the middle than necessarily at the bottom. But it doesn't make much of a difference. The number is the number, just visually. It feels better. But yeah, you guys can let me know your thoughts. And here we go. Newcastle still at 13th spot, lost at home to Leicester. No shame in that. I think they're on 3 games in a row. Lost. Start of the season has been far better than the first. It's actually been a bit of a letdown. For a while they were decent, but that feels like absolutely ancient history. Worcester are at the bottom of the actual table on like 30 points, so 3 points behind Newcastle and Bath. They had the bye last week. They do get a chance. I think they're playing Bath at home, so they've got a chance to get off the foot of the table. I know fans of both teams will be happy. It's not a relegation game, but it would have been fascinating if there was relegation, just in terms of the drama of that final week. Bath I've got in 11th, same as last week, so these 3 teams not moving. They did get a home win over London Irish, bit of a comeback. They break a losing run that they were on. Like I said, they're on 33 points, so 33, 30, and 30. These 3 teams clearly are the ones at the foot of the table. And then Bristol's kind of in this weird area of their own. Like Bristol, they beat Exeter at home. Bristol on their day feel like they could legit beat any team maybe, but they could also lose to legit anybody as well. They're on 48 points. Like the next teams above them are on 63 and the next team below them is 33. So they are genuinely just in the middle. They can't go on a run. They lose more than they win. They've won 2 of their last 4. That kind of sums up the majority of their season, I guess. I've got Gloucester in 9th. Gloucester has kind of had a bad run of form at the wrong time. They were setting themselves up as definitely a team to make the Final 4, but they've only won, I think, 1 of their last 5. So they picked the wrong time to have a bit of a slump. They are actually on 68 points, which is good enough for 5th on the table. So they are still a decent team, and they are still in with a shout. They lost at Harlequins. It was close, but still no cigar for them. So yeah, just not the form team as we head into the final week. London Irish I've got in 8th. London Irish, they lost at Bath. They've also had a bit of a bad run. 1 of their last 6, I believe. 63 points. They're in 8th, so there's not much separating. 8th and 5th. There's only a handful of points between them. There's a bunch of teams kind of in the 60s. It's just the way the season has panned out. So I think overall the season's been pretty decent for them, but losing that game to Bath, if they want to be that next step up, is the game they need to be winning, but not to be. And Exeter, speaking of teams that are in a slump, goodness me, like they had a rich run of form, looking like they were going to peak for the playoffs, but I think it's 1 of 5 for them as well in terms of wins. They're in 7th, also on 63 points. So the fact that they're on the same points total as London Irish with a week to go is not something many people would have predicted. So disappointing for the Exeter boys. They lost to Bristol. We expected better of them this season, eh? So it's a curious case for them. Wasps are another team. Like I mentioned, they're on 60 points, so that same kind of vicinity. They're in 9th. Their recent run is not great, of a loss and a draw in their last 2. So maybe if they'd been on a run, they would have been close to that playoffs picture. But again, it's been not to be for them. They lost at home to Sale last week, so they've actually got them down 1 spot on the power rankings. So as I mentioned, the wheels kind of fell off towards the tail end of their season. Northampton I've got down 1, but they are in the best spot going into this final round. I mean, they should qualify. They're on 70 points. They're on 4th. They were on a 5-game winning run, so it's kind of harsh to drop them a spot. But the teams who've passed them all had wins, so it's just kind of that recency bias thing. So they did get the 2 bonus points in their loss, which is vital in terms of their playoff race. So yeah, the top teams are all in really good form. I don't think Northampton's looking too bad. They could really be fourth, but then it'd pretty much just be the same as the table. That's not the way I calculate it. Sale I've got in that fourth spot. They've won their last two. They're on 65 points, so they're just like one poor result earlier in the season away from being in the conversation come this final round, because their start to the season, if memory serves, was pretty bad. So yeah, they've just left their run, I think, one game too late. They did get that away win at Wasps. I got them up 2 spots. But yeah, consistency's been a problem with them, man. Like I said, just trying to come back after a slow start to the season, I think. I mean, they're 5 points behind Northampton, so the ship's really sailed for them, but they can still get themselves as high up the table as they can. Quins I've got in the third, and Quins are starting to really hit their stride, aren't they? Quins, I think 7 of their last 8. That's a good run. Quins for a while were in a slump, but man, they've been explosive in the last few rounds. Comeback win over Gloucester, up 1 spot on my power rankings, 79 points. So they're third on the table, third on my power rankings. That spot is matching. Nope, it's these guys. Leicester, I'm almost used to putting them at number 1. Leicester, they're the same as last time I did the power rankings. Their away win over Newcastle was pretty expected. They're first on the table. They've got 2 wins in a row now after dropping a game. They've been looking the business all season. They won me $9 the other day because prior to the start of the season, I bet that Leicester would be the top of the table at the end of the regular season, but I gave them a point start of goodness knows how many, like 13 points or something, so they did it easily. I should have put more money on them. I put $1 on. So I profited $9 from Leicester's top season. So thank you, Leicester, for that. They are going to finish first in all likelihood. They're only 3 points ahead of Sharsies, who are here with a 7-game winning run. And man, Sharsies, I know they went out of Europe the other day, but they are looking pretty dangerous, aren't they? A lot of their big gun players have been in really good form. Like I said, 7 wins in a row. They were close against Northampton the other day. Look, Northampton had a late resurgence to push them close, but all money surely is on a Leicester against Sharsies final. But there's still a bit of rugby to be played between here and then. Quins on their run will certainly have something to say about that. And whoever finishes fourth, in all likelihood, Northampton. But there you go, folks. Sale, just leaving it a bit too late. A few teams like Wasps, Exeter, London Irish just didn't quite do enough this season. We've still got 1 power rankings to go after the final round in a couple of weeks. But yeah, we should almost have like these 3 teams on the bottom row. Bristol's kind of here. Maybe the Sharks can be here. These guys are all kind of much of a muchness. And then there's these 3 teams at the top is the way I read it. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. How would you rank the teams if you were ranking them? And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.